Full time. Doing gang things, living super clean. Daddy came up, can't control us. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you, you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters, got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy, could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach screaming bunty hole. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't doing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you peep these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Living super clean. Daddy came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that pop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you're lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of in the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. Beats help me, shout it, let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane.
That's my man. My man wrote that verse for me. Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Money.
4 times cause the man can't control up.
What is going on, y'all? Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday. I be getting confused because I used to come on Thursdays. So every now and then I have to remind myself, no, we're on Wednesdays now. How are y'all? I hope everybody's doing okay. I hope y'all had a good day. I hope y'all had a safe day. I hope y'all had a cool day. Because let me tell you, I went outside at like 5 o'clock to walk. And we usually walk every day at 5 o'clock. Me and my oldest daughter, we walk 5 o'clock, no problem. We be doing a mile. Sometimes we do 2. When we feeling really skinny, we do 2. But the sun said no today. The sun was like, absolutely not. Nobody is going to get a moment of peace. And we gave up. We forfeited. Came right on in the house. Came in the house and actually pulled up a dance routine on Apple Fitness. And that's what it was. Alrighty, alrighty. I'm sorry, y'all. Just getting myself together. I'm by myself today. My Boutier, Shalom and Shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. That is King Things. That is on which album? I don't remember which album of my husband's that is on, but it's available on Apple Music, iTunes, all that good stuff, I believe. Angelina, Shalom and Shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. All right, y'all. I came because we need to talk. Our sisters, we need to talk. Let your man go watch the game. If you got a man, let him go watch the game with his boys because we need to talk, okay? And I ain't bring no notes or nothing because I just feel like I do better with having these conversations freestyle. Okay. Oh, that thank you. My husband wrote my verse. Listen, I have no musical inclinations at all. He was just like, "Hey, you want to rap with me?" And I was like, "Okay, let's do it." So yeah, that was all his work. Shantae, Shalom and Shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm just skipping through all my intros and stuff. I done got too comfortable. Just in case you're new here, I go by Miss Mono's World in these content creator streets. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places the content creators be. Make sure you like and share and follow on all those places. And we have changed the name of the YouTube. If you're not at the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Meet the Monos, MEET the Monos, MONOS. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we are dropping content over here. Okay. Do not forget about F3 Friendship Family Fest. It is approaching, y'all. It's June. It is June. F3 is July the 26th. So if you have not gotten your tickets, please get your tickets. You can head over to where's the website? 3mgmusic.com. Get your tickets, get your vendors space. You can sponsor a family, you can donate, you can also volunteer. We are looking for volunteers. So please, if you're interested in volunteering and you were planning on coming to F3 anyway, sign up to be a volunteer. You can do all of that at 3mgmusic.com. And you can keep up with what's going on with F3 all year round at F3 Fringe Up Family Fest on IG and Facebook, I think. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's get to it, right? Because listen, it's all right. I'm gonna go slow. Like I said, I did not prepare any notes because I wanted this to just be like a heart to heart, and for me, those don't flow well if I have notes because then I'm just reading from my notes and I'm not talking. Okay, but I want to talk to y'all today, right? I want to talk to y'all as a woman who has survived domestic violence and who is now in a happily loving, thriving marriage, not with the same person. Okay. And I'm tired of us getting victimized over and over again. And let me just say, even in light of what's going on in the Israelite community, this is a universal problem. This is a universal issue. Women being taken advantage of, being victimized. This is not anything new. This is not isolated to one particular group of people. It's not isolated to one particular belief system, one race of people. It's not limited to any of that. This can happen to any of us. So let me just get that out, okay? In Ecclesiastics, we are told that there's nothing new under the sun, right? Matter of fact, hold on. Hold on. Let me get the exact words that I want to say. Hold on. Okay, hold on. It's so much here. I'm not sure where to start. But let's just stick with the principle of there's nothing new under the sun. If you go through Ecclesiastics, you'll see a retelling of the witnessing of human events. You know, I've seen people build houses, I've seen people work jobs, I've seen this, I've seen that, and it's all for nothing, right? But we're reminded that there's nothing new under the sun, okay? And when you start applying that to males and females, the birds and the bees, the boys and the girls, what you will realize is that the game never changes. The game doesn't change. Technology advances, fashions change, cars get faster, people get cell phones, and now we have text messaging. But the principles and the behaviors and the reasons and the methods and the ways of said game do not change. And I used to hate that term because why does dating have to be a game? This is not a game. We're talking about my life here, right? But it's called the game. If you're a fan of Game of Thrones like me, then you kind of understand why it's called a game. Because just like any other board game, say we were sitting down to play Monopoly, everybody has their own position and we all have a goal to win at the end, right? So we're all playing this game. However, it seems that for some reason, we women tend to find that one particular Negro and then decide, oh no, this one is different. He's not like those other ones. And what's so crazy is this Negro could be showing you the exact same red flags as the last 4 or 5 Negroes to come across your path. He could be exhibiting the same behavior or worse. But you have convinced yourself, probably because you've slept with him already, or, hear me out, you're lonely, you're desperate. For whatever reason, you have decided that your Negro is magical and that the rules that women have been applying for hundreds of eons of centuries do not apply to that man, right? And listen, I'm speaking as a survivor. I'm talking to you as someone who had a family member of mine look me in my face and tell me that it was my fault that I was abused because I allowed it to happen and I stayed. And at first I was very taken aback because you're not supposed to say that. I'm a victim of abuse. You're not supposed to say that to me. But once I had time to think about it, to consider different things, to replay the situation in a mature mind, I had no choice but to admit that said family member was right. It was my fault that I was in that situation. It was my fault because I said it absolutely was. And once I began to realize that, yes, it absolutely was my fault, I also realized that I had the power to make sure that it never happened to me again. I was married again after that marriage. This is my 3rd marriage. Okay. I was married again after that marriage, and he decided that he was going to try to experiment and hit me. And I was determined that no, you're not. And that was the end of that. Fool me once, shame on you. fool me twice won't be a third time. Okay. And so you may be like, okay, well, good. Look at you. You escaped and now you're, happily married and everything is going well. I did not. I'm sorry. I knew you was on your way. Speaking of the person I'm happily married to. So you're happily married now. You made it. You're fine. You made it. You're good. Right? So, love you. You about to go? See, my man's going to watch the game. It's in yours. I'm joking. You made it. It's fine. So if I decide to take that kind of chance and to gamble, I'll be okay too. But I'm here to tell you that no, you won't be. You can choose your actions, but you cannot choose the consequences of said actions. You can choose to sleep with him. You cannot decide if you get pregnant or not. A man should not be dependent on you for anything. Not at first. And let me say this, right? Because standards aren't universal, right? You may feel like my standards are too high. You may be like, oh, who need to do all that? We don't need to do all that. You're doing too much. That's you're entitled to your opinion. You have a right to feel that way. So I understand that, hey, my standards might not be everybody's standards. Okay. I get that part. That being said, I always knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I knew I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to be home and raise my children. I also understood that I was living a certain lifestyle before I ran back into and started dating my now husband. I had certain expectations of my life. I was at a certain status, okay? I was climbing a career path. I was back in school. Like I was on a trajectory to do well anyway. Right? Cuz poverty is never the girl's outfit. Like she's never throwing that on, okay? So I was preparing myself to live a certain type of life whether I'm married or I'm single. And so when my husband came along and decided that, okay, yeah, I want to marry you, it's my job to look at this situation and decide, is he positioned to give me the type of lifestyle that I want? Is he positioned to be a provider to allow me to stay at home with any children that we may have? And if we started this relationship with him asking me for money, then that's obvious that that's not it. He has no intention of providing. He's looking for a provider himself. Well, you don't give a man a chance. Listen, again, everybody's standards are different, okay? You got to decide what you want for your life. Some women want to work. Like some women, the idea of being a stay-at-home mom totally detest them. Like they can't stand it. They already know that they want to continue working, right? Okay. That's cool. But if that's not what you want, all you're doing by being embarrassed or letting people shame you into not living in your truth is hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself. And unfortunately, you're hurting him as well. I feel like when you enable people, you're doing them more damage. Like if I sit around and allow you to abuse me, I'm not only am I being abused, but I'm enabling your bad behavior. Okay, so you're not doing anybody any favors. And you know that saying, a leopard doesn't change its spots. That's about patterns of behavior, right? Because on the first date, you can't tell like what he's gonna be like, what kind of provider he's gonna be like. No, but if y'all are going on your first date and he looking at you to pay, then clearly being a provider is not his mindset. He is not looking for a woman that wants to be provided for, and that is okay because there are plenty of women out there who don't mind going 50-50 with a dude. Set him free to find the woman that he wants. And hey, sis, if you're offended by a man paying for the first date and you want to, you want your whole equality shtick and you wanted to be treated as equal, then cool. Find you a man that wants that. That's all. That's like the first preliminary things. That that part right there has to at least line up. Listen, I'll drop a man so quick for asking me for money in the dating stage. As you should, because what if first impressions are everything? And see here, oh gosh. Okay, see, like here's the thing, right? When the abuse happens, when the robbery happens, okay, when he done took all your money, when he done ran through you, it's always then when you look back and be like, well, this was a red flag and this was a red flag. So you ignore all these red flags. And here's the tea. Y'all aren't teenagers. Some of y'all is in y'all 30s and 40s and still falling for the same red flags. The behavior pattern is not going to change. If he's stingy when you first meet him, he's only going to get stingier because by you sticking around, you are co-signing their behavior. You're literally, hey, sir, can I have another? Every time he's mean to you, every time he does something you don't like, every time he plays you out, every time it's, oh, I forgot my wallet. Can you pay for this? Every single time you are enforcing the behavior. Clearly, that's the key. I like men who like to provide, not the ones who know that they have to. There's a huge exactly right. You don't want no man looking at you. And here's their famous line. What do you bring to the table? If a man has to ask you what you bring to the table, baby, you're not grown enough for this conversation. You're not educated enough for this conversation. It would be unfair for me to continue conversing with you because clearly you are not equipped. If you have to ask what a woman brings to the table, so many thoughts, and I'm trying to go in some kind of order. But back to the very beginning. You show a person how you want to be treated, and you teach them how to treat you. And if they can't grasp how you are teaching them to treat you, then it is your job to walk away. It's never going to get any better. The behavior that you accept in the beginning is only going to continue to grow. My husband paid for our first date. Now he pays for my lifestyle. It's only going to continue to grow. See, the benefit of the doubt is not for strangers. The benefit of the doubt is for people in your life who have proven themselves over and over again, and they may slip up one time. Like, okay, you got that one really good homegirl, y'all been kicking it, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden something happened, you feel like you need her, you call her, she's not there, she's not answering. Okay, something must be really going on because my homegirl's usually here for me. Okay, that's when you apply the benefit of the doubt. But y'all want to get a benefit of the doubt to strangers who haven't earned it. A stranger does not get the benefit of your doubt. Take the stranger's behavior for what it is. That is who they really are, and they don't care enough to hide it from you. Because I don't understand y'all. Because even when I was in the street, baby, you're going to make me feel important. I don't care if I'm number 580. You're going to make me feel like I'm number one and the only one when I'm in your presence. But y'all don't even demand that. Y'all not... My mama used to say, at least make them feed you first. But y'all not even doing that. Y'all feeding them. And then laying up and holding your legs open. For what? For what? Stop letting this false idea of equality mess up your life. You're never going to be equal to a man. I hate to tell you, you're not. And you're not supposed to be. We're supposed to be two counterparts holding things in balance. My husband goes out and makes the money. I put the money to use for our family. He pays the bills to keep the water on. I use the water to keep our house clean. While I'm worried about the kids learning how to read and write and math and finding tutors, my husband's out securing life insurance and finding investments for us so we'll have a passive income as we get older. So we'll have an inheritance to hand down. Both of these parts are very important and very necessary. But you feel like, oh, I can do it all by myself. And so you don't require anything of these men who you are entertaining. And I don't understand why not, because the men that you date are the men that you will marry. It's literally that simple. What do you mean? That's not true. I can always elevate. No, you can't, because listen, I don't know how to explain it to y'all, because y'all feel like, again, y'all got some kind of magical Negro who just surpasses all the rules. But the fact of the matter is, no, he don't. He's going to do the same thing his daddy did, his granddaddy did, his uncle did. The game don't change. Hold on, let me boop. Yeah, let's block that person, because now you're just talking crazy. The game doesn't change. And it's not until you accept that as a stone cold reality that you're going to stop running into the same people over and over again. I'll never forget when my dad told me, you're running into the same spirits over and over again. They just in different cars with different haircuts. It's not going to be until you change your mind that you're going to step out of that pattern of behavior. And I didn't understand what he was saying, because I was like, well, I don't like it. It's not like I like it. I'm not signing up for it. To me, my mind has changed. But it wasn't until I actually changed my behavior. Because I can tell you I changed my mind all day, but what is my action showing you? That's what matters. Yes, a man should keep his word, but his word means nothing if he's not following through with it. Same thing for you. And I'm going to tell y'all something else y'all be ignoring too. Y'all just accept any old nigga as long as he say he love God and he read the Bible a little bit. There are different interpretations and different understandings of the Bible. Absolutely. We all have our own relationship with our Creator. Absolutely. But are we really dating to marry or just to have someone? And that is the key. That's the key right there. What is your goal? What are you doing? You know, and y'all be taking fun time dudes and making them husbands, and that's not, just like you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. I'm not saying you can't make a hoe a husband, but he has to want to be a husband. You can't just, he's not just going to change for you. He has to want to be a husband. But anyway, I'm going to tell y'all, and it's okay if y'all disagree, drop it in the chat. For me, and what I have observed in my time in the Israelite community, and I want to say it's been about 6 or 7 years now, right before we moved into this house. So about 6 or 7 years now in the Israelite community. A thing that seems to be a prevailing pattern of behavior is the fact that men who do not subscribe to the New Testament often show oppressive and demeaning behavior toward their wives. I'm not saying all. I'm not saying all. But in the situations that I have observed where the wife is not happy, complaining, blatantly being abused, like any person would look and say, dang, that's messed up, right? The man always refuses to accept the New Testament, and he always refuses to accept Paul's writings. It never fails. It never fails. Anything past the gospel and Christ's words, that they're not hearing it. And you have to think about why. What is Paul saying in his writings that makes you decide that, oh, this is where the Bible stops? If we look at Paul in his writings, he's talking about the wife submitting to the husband and the husband submitting to the wife, and we're submitting to each other. He gives standards for men. There's standards about how we're supposed to treat each other. Okay, but even if we go, let's go to Christ's words. Let's go to the words of Christ when he said, hold on. Let me find this verse for y'all. Where is it? Hold on. Because I wanna explain okay. Matthew 5. I thought that was it. I just wasn't sure. Matthew 5. Okay, Matthew 5 and 21 is where we're gonna go. And I want to go here because I want to explain how the New Testament explained or further the New Testament thank you. The New Testament helps us to apply the law to our practical everyday life. Okay. Let's read this and then we'll get into it. And I'm reading from the NIV, okay? Matthew 5:21. You have heard it was said to the people long ago, you should not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment. But I tell you that anyone who is angry with a brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Again, anyone who says to a brother or sister, rakah, is answerable to the court. And I think that's some kind of like explicitive or something like that. Anyone who says you fool will be in danger of the fire of hell. So you see, if I only believe in the Old Testament, then my boundary to behavior is killing you. That's my boundary, because that's what the Old Testament says, thou shalt not kill. The Old Testament don't tell me not to be, what does it say? Not to be angry. Because right here it says, anyone who is angry with their brother or sister will be subject to judgment. But it don't say that in the Old Testament. That's not in the law. The law don't say I can't be angry. Right? And this is why people want to stop right there. This is why people want to stop at the end of the 613. That's it. Because they don't want to have to apply the law any more than what it says. It's the difference between the letter of the thing and the spirit behind it, right? Because the law says not to kill, but what leads up to that? You don't just wake up one day and kill someone. There's things that happen. There's a pattern of behavior that emerges before you commit that final act. Usually it starts with anger, which is why you would be subject to judgment. This is what the New Testament is for. when we talk in our study group, I'm always talking about the practical application of biblical wisdom. So if my goal is to apply this, then I want to get to the spirit behind the thing. And if I understand that the spirit of anger leads to the spirit of murder, then I'm going to check my anger. I'm going to practice the fruit of self-control, and I'm going to check my anger, because yes, the Bible does say be angry but sin not. It says that. Some anger is valid. Sinning is never valid. Some anger is valid. Sometimes you have a right to be angry. You do not have a right to sin. Okay, but anyway, yes, love your wife, exactly. Right. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear the explanation. They don't want to hear, well, what do you mean by that? I'm trying to think of okay. If I tell my kids, wash it, perfect one. I wash the dishes. My sons put up the dishes, right? When they put up the dishes, though, they just throw them in the cabinet. They don't care. If they open the cabinet and it can fit, they're going to throw it in there, right? Because all I said was put up the dishes. But what I mean is put up the dishes in the way that they are already organized, so that we can continue, so that I can continue to be able to find them. This is what I mean. And so the person that doesn't want to accept the New Testament wants to put up the dishes any way they want to, and you just deal with that. You said put up the dishes. You didn't tell me how, but the New Testament tells us how. Okay? All right. Hold on. I'm pulling up another verse. Pulling up another verse because I knew this was going to come up. Ephesians 5, and I know they hate this one too. Ephesians 5:21, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ. Wives, submit yourselves to your husband as you do to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Amen. Verse 25, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her, to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any blemish, but holy and blameless. In this same way, husbands ought to love their wives as their own bodies. He who loves his wife loves himself. After all, no one hated their own body, but they feed and care for their body just as Christ does the church. Yeah, wives respect your husband, and then continue. Because, see, here's the problem. Y'all over-respecting regular men. And this is another doctrine that I am really just makes my head explode. This idea that all women were created to serve all men. Absolutely not. God did not set Adam up and Eve and just laid a bunch of women in front of him and said, here, y'all all serve Adam. No, he gave Adam one wife, which was Eve. That was his helpmeet. You as a single woman, it is not your job to serve any man. No. Now listen, if we're in fellowship, we're in congregation, and the women are serving plates and feeding the people, by all means participate. But this nigga want a cup of water. That is not your job. If he wants to help me, let him find a wife. Y'all keep filling these women's heads with the idea of, oh, you got to submit to every single man. And then you wonder why these women in the community are getting abused. You got them feeling like, oh, I should just be happy you're here. When the Bible says he who finds a wife finds a good thing. And they say nothing about she who finds a husband. Adam needed Eve to help him. Eve wasn't walking around looking for Adam. And guess what Adam was doing? Working his job. He put him in the Garden of Eden to care for it. Adam had a job. Like, I don't, and I used to laugh when they used to point this out to us at church because I'm like, this is not necessary, but no, it's necessary. No man in the Bible bought a wife home to nothing. Even when when Rebecca came to Isaac, he had a tent for her. He had a place for her. They didn't have to be homeless and well, if you could help me put a tent together. No, it was a tent there for her. She had a place to stay. And this is how it's supposed to work. It's supposed to be generational. It's supposed to be generational. We're supposed to have enough for our children to come and inherit and continue what we started. Our goal is to have land for our family, to build houses on this land so that our families and their generations can continue to live there. So that's the way it's supposed to work, okay? But in this day and time, we're not set up for that. We're not set up for generational wealth. I get it, okay? So look, Buddy might not have a freaking mansion in Buckhead to take you to, but baby, can we at least get an apartment? Can we get something? Y'all coming on these missions to save these men when that is not biblical at all. I don't know what Bible you're reading when any woman approached any man with money in her hand. When was that Laban went to get Rebecca? He came with jewelry, did he not? Y'all need to go back and read that story. When he went to her family, he was like, look, I got this, this, and this for her. He didn't go there talking about, well, can she bring some money with her? Come on. We claim to read the Bible. We claim to be women of God. Why are you out here embarrassing your father like this? No, we are both the prize. We're both the prize. But here's what I need y'all to understand, my sisters. I need y'all to understand something. If that man is a man of God and his heart is after God, then his understanding should be that when he marries you, he becomes responsible for you and everything about you. That should be his understanding in taking you on. And therefore, he is going to value you, love you, care for you as the precious woman, the precious daughter of the Most High that he should be seeing you as. He's not going to want to take anything from you because he's going to want you to be in the utmost comfort. Even before me and my husband was married, this man would make sure I had food at work, breakfast and lunch. And if I had to work overtime, he was showing up with dinner. I never had to want for nothing. Even when we were dating, he was making it very clear the position he wanted to play in my life. And the problem is y'all be putting niggas in positions that they didn't sign up for. He ain't asked to be your man. But I like him and I think he the one. That's not your position to do that. That's not your role. He's supposed to pick you and then you decide. But y'all be getting it backwards and that's the problem. Y'all be all on them and now they just, oh, it's up to me. Psh, it's up to me. And then that's when they start acting all sassy. And I get it. A good man is hard to find. But the problem is y'all stop looking. Every dude you talk to is not courting you. To me, to my understanding, dating is socializing. Okay. I'm out somewhere. I meet somebody. Okay. We can go out. We have a good time. I drive my car. We have dinner. Maybe go for ice cream or whatever. And then I take my butt home. And then the next night, if somebody else want to hang out, okay. I drive my car. We go hang out. I take my butt home. You are just socializing. No one is courting you at this point. No man has said to you, I want you to be my wife. I want you to be my one and only. None of that is going on. You are just friends. And y'all need to relearn the definition of friends. A friend is not someone you have sex with. That is not a friend. And that's the problem. That's my best friend. No, it's not. That's the person you hunching on right now. And because you fell for that best friend crap, he don't owe you nothing for the coochie. You giving it up anyway. See, when we hear husbands love your wife as Christ loved the church, he laid down his life for it. We rightfully so think of the Messiah on the cross, right? Rightfully so. He laid down his life. He is the sacrifice and the perpetuation for our sins. However, for us regular schmegular people, to lay down your life means to live your life for that person. When my husband get up every day and go to work, he don't always want to do that. He don't. Some days he want to lay in the bed. Some days he want to just chill. But because he loves me, he gets up every day and goes to work to make sure that he can provide for me. And I know you might be like, what about everybody else? What about everybody else? We talking about husband and wife. If it wasn't for husband and wife, it wouldn't be nothing else. You got to make sure he want to do that enough for you before you even think about having children with him. If he don't love you enough, your kid ain't got no chance. It's easy to die for someone. You did the easy part. You dead now. You don't feel nothing? What the Bible say? The dead know nothing. You don't feel nothing. You don't remember nothing. You ain't here struggling to help raise these kids or pay these bills. You gone. That's the easy way out. To live, to lay down your life for someone literally means that every day you wake up and choose them, and your actions are going to line up with what's best to keep this person in your life. And I'm not saying it shouldn't be the other way around. But the thing that sticks out to me is when the Bible says that we only love God because he loved us first. And ladies, that's how it should be with these men. He got to love you first. He has to. He has to marry you. He has to cover you. He has to take responsibility for you, or he's supposed to anyway. You can't love a man into liking you. It does not matter what you do. If you not it, you not it. Listen, there's nothing that you can tell me about mint chocolate chip ice cream to change my mind. I hate mint chocolate chip ice cream. Can't stand it. Who thought of that anyway? It tastes like toothpaste. Hate it. There's nothing you can tell me to change my mind. And it's the same thing with that man. There's nothing you can tell him to change his mind about whatever position he has placed you in his life. The only thing that you can do is recognize it and decide if you want to stick around or not. And if you're looking for marriage and he has not positioned you as a wife, I suggest you move on, because all you're doing by sticking around talking about we just friends, is setting yourself up for failure. You setting yourself up to be heartbroken, a single mom, a plaything, a joke. I'm tired of y'all not being victorious in this area. And hey, guess what? Victory don't always look like marriage. So, victory is peace. Victory is peace in your mind, peace in your home. I love being married, don't get me wrong. But baby, when I was single, I was having a time too. I was having a time. I used to love Fridays when I would get off work, do my little ShopRite run, go in my little house, lock my door, turn on a movie, and me and my babies would kick it. I enjoyed being single. I learned to enjoy being alone. And some of y'all need to get that because guess what? Even when you're married, you're still going to have alone time. You're still going to be alone. Your husband is not going to be up your butt 24/7. You're going to have to learn how to be alone and be happy. And it's the women who don't learn how to be alone that are up here messing up good men because they're attention whores and never learned how to be alone. That's victory. And that's what I want for y'all. And for those of y'all who do want to get married, how serious are you about it? Because y'all say y'all want to get married, and then as soon as the first nigga smile at you, oh, this my husband, girl. You don't know him from Adam's house cat. He could be a mass murderer for all you know. He could literally be one of America's most wanted right now. But all you know is, oh, he said he loved God and he liked me and he said he want to get married. He didn't say he want to get married to you. And that's what y'all be missing. Y'all ask a man, oh, you want to get married? Just because he said, yes, I want to get married one day, that don't mean for you. You ask him a general question, he gave you a general answer. Stop taking it personal when it's not. You blowing up his phone every day. Well, he said he want to get married. He did not say to you, though. And did he show you? What has he done to show you? Has he opened up his life to you? Can you go through his phone? Has he shared his credit report with you? Do you know his employment history? What are his plans for the future? Is he working toward anything? And now what y'all can't do is, because that's what a lot of women do. We go out here and we settle, right? We'll meet a dude who, hey, he's happy with his life. He got his little job. He worked his little jobby job. He got his little car. He got his little apartment. He cool with that. He don't want nothing else. He cool. His plan is to move up to management at Walmart. And I'm not clowning it because the managers make money. I'm not clowning it, but I'm just saying this is the life he chose. But you know that's not the life you want for yourself. You want to build multiple streams of income. You want to get into entrepreneurship. You want to do content. You want to. What's unfair is when you want to, and you settle for a nigga who don't want to, and then you expect him to want to because of you. That's not how that works at all. All you're going to do is end up frustrated and frustrating him. Stop settling. Be who you want to be because this is the rest of their life we're talking about here. Even after surviving domestic violence, it was hard to be in a healthy relationship because, listen, you're going to have disagreements in a healthy relationship. You're going to have disagreements. Y'all are going to argue back and forth. Things are going to get heated a little bit. The thing is, though, when you've been abused and you see a disagreement come up, you've learned to anticipate being beat on. So your brain automatically goes into fight or flight. And now this person is dealing with the energy that they do not deserve. And I was guilty of that a lot with my husband. It's like we couldn't have just regular arguments because everything brought a heightened sense of awareness to me that was not necessary because he had not displayed that behavior. I was still messed up in the head. And here's the other tea about that, right? Because you get out of the relationship, and until you're in another serious relationship, you don't encounter these same issues. So I thought I was good. Like, I thought I was normal because I hadn't really, loved anybody since then. I hadn't really cared about anybody that much since then. So to me, because I had not ran into these triggers, I thought I was healed already. Oh, but for the grace of God and the patience of my husband, okay, I would still be single or, you know what I'm saying? Something. because it was a lot. And my husband's an exceptionally strong man. So he was able to handle that. With the grace of the Most High, he was able to handle that, and we grew through that. I was willing and wanting to. That's another big part of it. I wanted to. I was willing to do the work. Why take yourself through that if you don't have to? Why take your future husband through that if you don't have to? And the way that you prevent that is by avoiding the red flags once they peek their ugly heads. There are women, and they're not as loud about it now because of social media and whatnot, but there was a time. And they would tell you that if my man don't beat me, he don't love me. If we don't fight, it ain't real. That is the most backwards thing I've ever heard in my life. But that's how some of y'all act because y'all keep running into the same dudes that's doing y'all the same kind of dirty every time. And it's like I had to explain to one of my daughters, abuse takes different forms. Abuse takes different forms. So while one man might have talked down to you and called you ugly and told you don't matter and you ain't nothing without him, another man might talk just as sweet as pie to you, but every time you turn around, it's a different girl in his phone. It's a different girl calling you. It's a different girl in your DMs. That's a form of emotional abuse. Even if we dating my guy. And me and my husband, we were older, okay? We were both in our 30s. We were both on subsequent marriages. We both had children already. So we were kind of fully grown when we started dating. But we both had decided that we both wanted a clean slate with each other. So we did the phone exchange and the password exchange. No deletions. And he saw all my ugliness and I saw all his ugliness. If someone is not willing to expose all sides of themselves to you, why would you? That's a red flag. And look, a person who does not go into their past, who does not divulge their past, is dangerous. And listen, I know that we teach repentance and forgiveness and moving on and all of that other stuff. But I don't remember where I heard this one day, but it really, really just like it's something I've kept with me. This lady was saying that a person's past matters. Their past sins, the past things that they were caught up with matters because that thing is going to continually come back to try to tempt them at different times in their life. Okay, we're so easy to be able to point out the problems with like alcoholics and drug addicts, but the sinful spirit continues in that same pattern. It talks in the Bible about how that spirit comes back to the home, to the heart, and if it's swept empty, then it brings 7 more like it. And so this is why a person's past is important. Okay? I know what I want to deal with and what I don't want to deal with in my life. I know that I could deal with a man who had a wild past with women, un poquito, not a lot, okay? Just, okay, I can deal with that. If this comes back, I trust him enough to be able to stand strong in his convictions. I knew that I couldn't deal with a drug addict. I couldn't deal with that because if that thing came back, I don't want no parts of that. And that's okay. You have the right to make that choice. But the thing is, y'all don't be making these conscious decisions and you get with these dudes who had these wild, wild past, and then you wonder why he's treating you the same way that he claims he was delivered from. I didn't realize until I was an adult that the people in the church is the same as the people in the street. And the people in the Israelite community is the same as the people in the church, is the same as the people in the street. They are. They are. They're the same. Some of us have chosen to grow and mature beyond our past behaviors. Some of us haven't. And it's not about judging or condemn. No, pause. It is about judging. It's not about condemning, right? Because we were once all foolish. What? Hold on, let me find that because this is one of my favorite verses. It is one of my favorites ever since I read it. Okay. Do. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Ah. Sorry, y'all. My app backing up. Okay, here we go. Okay, Titus 3. Okay. Titus 3. We're going to start at the top. Remind the people to be subject to rulers and authorities, to be obedient, to be ready to do whatever is good, to slander no one, to be peaceful and considerate, and always to be gentle towards everyone. Verse 3. At one time, we too were foolish, disobedient, deceived, and enslaved by all kinds of passions and pleasures. We lived in malice and envy, being hated and hated one another. We were all there. All have sinned and fallen short. We've all been there at one time or another. So just because you've passed that point doesn't mean for you to look back on others with condemnation. If you can't look back on them with mercy and grace, not foolishly, not being stupid, not letting them play you, not letting them take advantage of you, absolutely not. You are my brother or sister in Christ, and I will continue to pray for you. If you need a cup of water, absolutely, you got it. I will feed you if you were hungry. But what we're not going to do, I'm not going to do is be a fool. Let you take advantage of me, let you play me, let you lie to me, let you tell me things that I know are not true. I'm not going to let you manipulate me. And the reason I say to judge, I just had a conversation with a sister the other day, and we was going to an event, and she was like, "Don't judge." I'm judging. I judge. That's what I do. I had to tell my husband that. I judge. I do. I try with my whole heart to judge righteously. I do. Um, but I make judgments because they're necessary. A judgment is just a conclusion to a decision. And I get to decide who is in my life and who is not. And if I decide that I don't like the behavior that you portray, I don't like the spirit that seems to be around you, I can judge that I don't want to be around said person. That's my right to do that. It's not condemnation. Y'all be getting judgment mixed up with condemnation. If I'm standing in the middle of the street and you see a car coming, you are not judging me by telling me that, hey, stupid, get out the middle of the street. If anything, you would be condemning me by leaving me in the street to die. So when you look at a person, when you look at a man and you righteously through your eyes can see that this person cannot give me the life that I want. And I'm not just talking financially. I'm talking spiritually, emotionally. Look, I need a lot of attention. A lot of attention. And you might say, well, that's because when you was in the world. Okay. My husband knew that when he got with me, however. And he gives me all the attention I need. And to some people, that might be too much. We check in with each other when we're apart. He calls me to check on me. Hey, you been away for a while. You good? Everything all right? Okay, cool. He called me when he thinking about stuff. Like we are constantly in contact with each other. And to some people that might be a lot, but I need my man obsessed with me. No, I need that. I need that. I couldn't be happily married without it. And I'm not saying this all the time. Whatever it is, it's enough for me. And just because it might be too much for you doesn't mean it's wrong, it's crazy, it's weird, or anything like that. It just means that you need to find what works for you. Like my mom married her husband because he travels for work. And she was like, good, I get to be in the house by myself sometimes. That works for her. That's what she wanted. That's what she chose. Y'all have to start choosing what you want instead of settling. You know you want attention. You know you want a man that is concerned about you 24 hours a day, especially when you're not in his presence. But what you do, you sit up here and settle for a nigga that don't even halfway like you. Because if he liked you, he would want you around him all the time. My favorite color is pink. I try to wear pink as much as possible. Why? Because I like it. It makes me feel good. I want it around me all the time. I like my husband. He make me feel good. He make me feel safe. He makes me feel loved. I want him around all the time. I like him. If you got to ask somebody, if you the one making the dates, if you the one calling him, talk about, hey, what you doing? I was wondering. He don't like you. You know how you treat somebody when you don't like them. And that's the problem. Like every dude that you interact with, you have not liked them. Some of them you treated kind of crazy. But you'll sit there and let somebody do to you treat you the same way that you treated the person that you don't like. And you see it didn't work for the person that you don't like. So then why do you think that you could turn around and try to... And I know y'all might be like, oh, well, this seems kind of simple. This is really simple conversation, but obviously it's not because y'all keep having to expose these niggas. So obviously it's not. Obviously we need to cover this again. There was a reason, and I know y'all gonna say, oh, that's barbaric. But no, there was a reason that parents arranged marriages. People still do that today. Wealthy people, certain people, they put their kids in the arena with kids of their friends that they know are raised similarly. One Muslim family and another Muslim family, they let their kids grow up together. This Buddhist family and this Buddhist family let their kids grow up together. Hopefully they get married. Sometimes hey, this your man, this your wife, whatever. Sometimes it's just like that. But there's a reason for all of that. You in your youth can often confuse feelings for the necessities of life. You think, oh, love is enough, when the fact of the matter is, love is the last thing that you should be worried about when you're picking a spouse. Hear me as a lady, as a woman. Love should be the last thing on your mind. Does he like me? Is his heart after God? Not does he say he loves God? Anybody can say they love God. Is his heart after God? Does he show me that through his actions? How does he treat the people around him? What's his relationship like with his mama and his sister and them? How does he relate to the other females in his life? The women that have been in his life longer than you. What's that relationship like? Because if he can't respect his mother, and they be quick to talk about, oh, well, you ain't had no daddy. You ain't had no daddy. Nigga, where your mama? You ain't have a mama or a daddy. So feelings are the last thing that you should consider. I don't care if he makes your toes curl and the hair stand up on your arms. That is the last thing you need to be worried about. Let's make the logic make sense. Can I stand him? Can I tolerate him? Is he prepared to, or is he preparing to be able to provide the type of lifestyle that I say that I want? And none of y'all want to be abused. None of y'all want to be taken advantage of. None of y'all want to be exploited. But the first time a man have you come out of your pocket, whether it's on purpose or he claims he left his wallet at home, from the moment that that man sees that he can get money from you, it is a wrap. And what's so crazy? I think some of y'all be lying about y'all adventures in the street, because there's no way that you claim that you out here playing these men left and right and you robbing them and you doing this and you doing that and you turn around and get played with the way that you do. The math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing. And I'm big on personal responsibility, right? I'm big on personal responsibility, doing your part, faith and work, talk and action, right? So if the actions aren't lining up with what you had in your mind, why would you stick? And see, here's what some of y'all do. Y'all stick around and ask questions about stuff that's already made obvious. Y'all will see a man order Hennessy every time y'all go out. And then one time you want some VSOP? You ain't never seen him drink VSOP in his life. Why do you think he was starting out? And it's the same way with his behavior. It's the same way with everything. You go to his house, the lights off, and he got candles lit. That's the kind of life you want? Yes, people go through struggles. Absolutely, people go through struggles. But baby, we're not starting on a struggle foot. Why we want to that's the kind of stuff that's supposed to happen over time. Our bills was paid. I was working. My husband was doing tattoos. This is back before we came into the truth. My husband was doing tattoos. He was getting money from music. He was getting money from the military. Like, my husband always had multiple streams of income, right? When we had our oldest son is when we started our first business. We struggled through that. Yeah, because we were starting a business from the ground. That made sense. The struggle made sense. It wasn't out of nowhere. It wasn't no rent. It made sense. We were starting a business. I had quit my job to stay home with Paxton. My husband, shout out to my husband, because even before we came into the truth, he had stopped doing tattoos because the women were being loose. And he was honest enough with me to share that with me. He was like, look, I prayed for you and I don't want to mess that up. So, I'm gonna stop doing these tattoos because these women keep throwing themselves at me and I don't want to fall into temptation again. Come on, a man's intentions. His intention. What do he want with you? What do you see me as? Do he want to be a husband, or do he just... Some of y'all don't want to get married. Some of y'all just want to be able to have sex without feeling bad for it. And some men don't have that little switch in their head and they just don't care. They'll have sex whenever, wherever. They don't want to be a husband. They just want to be able to get sex from you whenever they can. And now they done got y'all with this sex is marriage doctrine. So all they got to do is hunch on you and tell you, oh, you my wife now. And you walking around giggling, telling your friends that you married. And he ain't told nobody no such a thing. His mama don't know. His daddy don't know. His sisters don't know. His homeboys don't know. Nobody knows who you are or about you or that you're supposed to be his wife until they accidentally see y'all out together. If he wanted to marry you and do right by you, he would marry you and do right by you according to the land that you live in. My husband loves me and wants to do right by me. He married me. We have life insurance. We have investments. My name is on the stuff just like his name. Because that was his intention for me. From the beginning, that's been obvious. I haven't worried about a bill, even when we were struggling, even in our times of struggle, even if that meant he had to go outside and figure out how to turn the water on by himself. We had them days. Sure, we did. But I wasn't worried about it. I was worried about him, but I was never worried about a roof over my head, food. Well, I've never had to bother myself with those thoughts since I've been with him. And if you don't want that same testimony, that's cool. I get it. Some of y'all want to go out there and work every day and cool, that's fine. But shouldn't it be a choice? I don't know. Don't let me ruin whatever you got going on with my standards. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this to the people that are building something. Like you and your man getting together and y'all building something, y'all working towards something cool. I'm saying this for the women who keep settling for less. Because if you was cool with giving this nigga all your money, and if you was cool with everything he was doing to you, then you wouldn't be complaining. What I'm saying wouldn't be bothering you at all because you're at peace in yourself with the decisions that you've made. So if anything that I'm saying is provoking you, bothering you, you may want to ask yourself why. What is she triggering in me when she says this, and why is it bothering me? Because when you're happy with your life, you're happy with your life. I'm a stay-at-home mom, okay? And anytime I'm out and about and around other groups of women, they're all talking about their jobs and their careers and, you know, a man ain't a plan and da 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 da. Okay, that's my man is my plan, so that's cool for you, ma'am. My man is my plan. That's cool for you. And so if you're really at peace with your decisions, that's cool for you, but this is the way I live. I'm not an independent woman. Not at all. I'm very dependent on my man. And he's very dependent on me. We're dependent on each other. We are interdependent. We are married. We are one. Okay. So we are interdependent on each other. So I can't relate to the independent woman talk. I can't relate. And I don't let it bother me because I'm at peace with my decisions. Even when it's my own family making little slick comments or, you know, and I struggle. I struggle with not having my mom's approval. At 45 years old, I can tell y'all that. My mom's dream for me was to go to college and become Dr. McCullough, surgeon extraordinaire. I wanted a family. Now, if I had not married my husband, then I would be on my career path. Yeah. But I wanted a family. From as long as I can remember, I just always wanted a complete family, and I wanted a happy home life and a happy family life. And so those were the choices that I made. And I live every day with those choices. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says. You can't convince me that the other way was better. I lived the other way. And the whole time I was living the other way, I was praying to live the way I live now. And so what kind of fool would I be to let other people's opinions change the prayer that God answered for me? And if you can't speak about your life that way, examine yourself, sis. Nowhere in the Bible does the Most High call for his daughters to be abused, misused, taken advantage of, whored out, prostituted, beat on, talked down to. That's nowhere in the Bible. Have your own beliefs before you accept his. Understand God for yourself and know what you believe. Don't be so quick to throw away the God that you have known your whole life. And I'm not saying we can't learn. I'm not saying we can't grow. I love the fact that my husband and I came into the truth together, because I don't know if I'd have been able to accept what he was saying if this had not already started being revealed to me, even before me and him got together. Years before, this was already starting to unlock within me. And so when he started coming with it, because I was already kind of asking questions, and he was like, no, that, no. But when he started coming with it and it was fitting into what was already playing in my mind and in my spirit, okay, now, oh, this is the missing piece. Because I kept feeling like something was missing. I'm like, okay, God, I've been in church all my life. I'm not saying I'm no Bible expert, but I'm pretty well versed in the Bible. And, I've had a pretty strong prayer life for as long as I can remember. It's something's missing here. It got to be more than this. It had to be more than what they was telling me at church. And I knew this. And I went searching for this. And then things started being revealed to me. And so my husband and I grew up in the church, okay? We had similar belief systems. We had an understanding of the role of husband and wife and the role of family and how that was supposed to look. We had that basic understanding before we even considered getting married. We had the same belief system before we got married. And even, like I said, even when he started coming to me with some other things, okay, this is clicking with me. This is resonating with my spirit. This is answering some of the questions I have been asking myself for years. He didn't just come to me with some different spin on the Bible and totally change the way I was living. But that's what y'all be letting these niggas do to you. You read the Bible front to back. You love the Old and the New Testament. This man that came in your life and all of a sudden the New Testament don't matter no more. I don't remember where this came up or whatever, but I heard someone say that loving your neighbor is keeping the law. And I'm not saying that's not true, but how? Explain it. Explain it how. If that man tells you I would love you according to how the law says to love my wife, explain it how. What does it look like? The Bible is not a made-up book. It's not a book of fairy tales. There's historical facts and historical context. And just like if you've ever seen that movie 300, right? There are real life actual processes that happen. The messenger came to Leonidas. Leonidas kicked the messenger down the hole. They declared war against Sparta. They marched to the mountain path. Oh, here comes Xerxes and all his army. There are steps. It plays out for things to happen. Explain to me how you plan to take the words from the law and apply them to loving me as your wife. And if he can't answer that question for you, run. Run. The fast way. Please. There are good men out there. There are men who want to be married. There are men who want to marry you. Somebody is looking at you and liking you right now, probably. You just don't know it. Stop being a victim. Stop standing still. When a gazelle is being hunted, she does not stand. She continues to run. Continue to run the race until you get to your goal. Don't stop. Y'all will get to mile marker 5. Oh, I'm just going to stay here for a little bit. And then next thing you know, everybody else has passed you. I was talking to my daughter and her cousin the other day, and they're in college. And I told them, listen, this is the last part of your life where you're going to be able to meet a boy that you're around every day. You can talk to his friends. Y'all run in the same social circles. You know him already. You have access to his parents, to different parts of his life to help you get to know him. So I told him, don't be so quick to just settle down with the first thing that comes around. Play your options. It's same like don't count your eggs before they hatch. Y'all get it. And let me tell y'all, as somebody who has hatched a few chicken eggs, the egg can very well be fertilized, but that does not mean that anything develops. It takes 21 days for eggs to hatch. We've had an incubator with like 6 eggs in it twice. The first time 4 eggs hatched, and then I think the second time that all 6 hatched the second time. How many birds is up there right now? Yeah, I think it's 6 birds up there right now. So the second time, like all 6 hatched, right? But not the first time. And you don't know. Like you can check. There's this thing called candling where you hold the egg up to the light and then you can check on the inside. And the candling may even tell you like, oh yeah, there's something in there. And then when it's time for it to hatch, nothing. That's what y'all be doing. Oh, I like him. I'm going to keep him. This one is mine. But when it's time for him to hatch, nothing. It'll look like it's going to be something. But then it's nothing. I wish there was a way to sum it up. You know, I wish I had some cute little wrap it up, some cute little hook for y'all to remember, but it's really not that easy, man. We're talking about y'all lives here. Not just your life, but the children that y'all have. And some of y'all out here single moms dating, which just adds to it. Yes, it's hard dating as a single mom. Absolutely it is. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, it shouldn't matter. It absolutely should matter. And it absolutely should be harder for you because you're not just considering you, you're also having to consider a child. So you're talking about your son's father figure, your son's first male role model, the first man that's ever going to have to love your daughter, the man that's going to teach her what to expect from all men going forward, which is why I really can't understand how y'all be getting with these men who have no grasp of the Bible. Because if you don't understand the Bible for yourself, how are you going to help me direct my child? That would lead me to the conclusion that you're not as godly as you say you are if you're willing to settle for a man who is not rooted and planted in the word, the entirety of the word. And let's not even get to the Apocrypha, okay? Because the wisdom in there will choke you, okay? So please, y'all, I just wanted to have this talk with y'all. I wanted to share a little bit of my story with you all so that you understand, like, man, no condemnation here. No, I don't have my nose turned up, nothing like that. It's never that. It's always open arms and a listening heart and prayer. Because I'm praying for you. I know how hard it was for me to get out of that. And even once I left that abusive relationship, the mind change that you have to go through, that can be a struggle. Everybody doesn't understand that. It's a club that you don't want to be in. But I offer that to help you to overcome by the words of my testimony, right? And with the thinking that if I can help warn my sister and stop her from going through this, then that's one less damaged woman. That's one less piece of baggage that my sister has to carry. That's one less struggle that she'll have to fight. And that's even more energy she can put into her life, she can put into her love, and she can put into her children. I am begging y'all. I promise you it's not worth it. It is not. One of the things that, if it wasn't for the grace of God, would probably eat me up is the fact that my oldest daughter can't have a relationship with her father. It beats me up. I mean, it's all fun and games when they're little and it's ha ha ha. But nah, ma'am, as they get older, they're going to start asking questions. And then you got to explain, I was a fool and I laid down with a very dangerous man. And I don't ever want you to have to deal with this. And I have to look my child in the eyes while she's crying because there's a piece of her that she just will never know. And I get it because I was the same way about my dad. He wasn't dangerous, but he wasn't a good dad. And that, why you don't love me? What's wrong with me? Why you didn't pick me? Why wasn't I worth hanging on for, worth fighting for? And as I've become an adult and I've been able to have these conversations with my dad, you know, I'm old enough to understand it wasn't about me. It was really about some stuff that was going on between him and my mom, but I was still affected. And he thankfully was able to give me that closure. And I try to provide that same closure for my daughter, but how much better would it have been if I would have been being obedient and waited to have children with the right man, not just any husband. Just because a nigga your husband, don't give him some kind of special hall pass. It don't. Ivory is real. Shalom and shalom, sis. Just because he's your husband, don't give him a hall pass. And I make the joke a lot on social media. You know, my husband is good. I don't know about the rest of these men. My husband is cool. But in reality, there are some good men out there, right? But prove him. Make him prove himself. Stop giving people the benefit of the doubt who have not earned any benefits in your life. You got to be on a job at least 90 days to get benefits. Y'all met this dude 90 seconds. The benefit of the doubt is only for people who have earned it. He done came through on his word multiple times. He done did what he said he was going to do multiple times. And it's one time. Maybe he not answering the phone. Maybe, you know, oh, he had to put off this for another day. Okay, this is just one time. This is not his normal pattern of behavior. He deserves the benefit of the doubt. But if on the first day he sit up here asking you about your finances and start complaining to you about, oh, woe is me, I'm struggling with my bills, sir. Do I look like a trans man to you? Why are you talking to me like this? What is wrong with you? That's what you need to run away from. My husband ain't asked me for nothing until we was married. All right, I'm about to wrap this up. Ooh, it's 9:40. I'm about to wrap this up. Real quick. Because I'm not ever saying, no, you can't ever help your man build. Absolutely not. After we were married, and we have been married for a few months. It was right before I found out I was pregnant with Paxton. I found out I was pregnant with Paxton in December. So maybe like September, October, around that time, I had gotten a car accident. Right? Had whiplash real bad. Like all this was towed up. So, you know, we found a lawyer, went through that whole situation or whatever, got the check. Boom. My husband came to me when we got the check and was like, listen, this is a plan. This is what I want to do. He had it all laid out, all figured out. Boom, boom, boom. Do you think? Up until that point, I was working and he was in charge of our finances. Just because even in dating, it was obvious that I was the less financially responsible one. That was obvious when we were dating. And it was a gamble. Yes, absolutely. It was a gamble, but okay. We gonna make this work. I'm gonna give you a chance. Here you go. You handle the finances and distribute them as you see fit. Okay, so up until that point, he had been proving himself with my paycheck, which was nothing in comparison to the check that we got from the car accident, right? And so he came to me with a plan, and I was like, okay, cool, run it. Run it. And we were talking about this the other day. He was like, well, what if you get mad at me one day and start telling people that I took your money? I was like, the people would look me in my face and call me a liar because they can see what we've built. They can see the businesses. They see F3, our home, the chickens, the garden, the kids. You see the life that we've built. So if I were to tell you my husband took my money and ran off with it, please feel free to call me a liar because that's a lie. But y'all be giving these dudes money without proving them first, without being married to them. Again, we were married, okay? We were married, living together, all that stuff. Finances was already combined, all that stuff. He didn't move in with me. And speaking of which, I was about to move into an apartment. I had just came from Jersey. I was about to move me and my girls in an apartment. I told them, if I get an apartment for me and my daughters, that's for me and my daughters. You can't come and lay up in here. So if you want to marry me, the time is now. Because if I get this apartment on my own, catch me when you can. I've always had that attitude. If I got to take care of myself, I see you when I see you. Y'all don't value your time enough. If I need another man for anything, you are not my man. You can't be, because I still need to go to other people and things for stuff. But y'all will sit up here and have this bum on your arm while you paying for his all-star platter at the Waffle House. What is wrong with y'all? And then you wonder why when you get pregnant, he won't get up at 2:00 and go get you Taco Bell. He never cared about providing for you. You the one that wear the pants in the marriage, in the relationship. He wants you to go get him Taco Bell at 2 a.m. Man, stop fronting to get a man and then getting mad with that when that man doesn't accept the real you. You never showed him the real you. You settled to land a man. He don't know this new you. You done switched up on him. That's not his fault. Anyway, because we can go on about this for hours. we can, because I love y'all, and I just want better for you. I want a better life for you when you're single, and I want a better life for you once you get married. I want you to live your life to the fullest at every station, because guess what? Marriage is for life. Single is for a short time. It is a short time for you to enjoy yourself, for you to focus totally on you. You don't have to consider anyone else. You don't got to ask somebody else what they think. You ain't got to worry about no budget. It's all on you. Once you get married, now other people come before you. That is totally different. It is a joyous and wonderful time in your life, but it's totally different from singlehood. And if you jump into marriage too quick, you look back and be like, dang, what did I miss? I have a family member who got married really young. Like, she never lived on her own. She graduated from high school, got married, had kids, and she stayed with her husband until he passed away last year. What is this, June? Yeah, last year. That was the only man she had ever known. And she told me one day she regretted that. She said she regretted that. She regretted that. She wished she would have experienced life, went to college, just traveled, got to know herself more. Look, you go to sleep when you want to. You can lay across the bed, had a fan on, had a fan off, had the windows open. You get to do all that. You ain't got to worry about nobody snoring. You get to do all that when you're single. When you're married, now you got to worry about his fan and my fan and the window, and it's too hot and it's too cold and you snoring and you this and you that. But that's about every part of life. I've learned that. That's one thing I've learned in my journey. Enjoy every part of life. Because when you get to the next part, you're going to look back at that time and be like, oh man, that was really dope. That's what you want to do anyway. You want to be able to look back on that part and smile. Like the last part of my singlehood, that was joyous. Like it was cool. It was a time. It was a time in my life. And I appreciate it. And it prepared me for a marriage, and it helped me to appreciate my husband now. And that's what I want for y'all. I want y'all to enjoy your singlehood, live it to the fullest, figure out how you can serve God at this time to your utmost ability, and be so busy enjoying your life that when that man comes along, he wants to be a part of your life so bad that he is willing to lay down his life for it. That's what it got to be. That's what it has to be. And that is my prayer for y'all. Please. All right. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I know I just kind of went on a rant there, but man, that has just been on my mind and on my heart. Well, I don't know if y'all know about the expose situation, but even beyond that, I found this new channel on YouTube called Social Catfish. People my age and older. I'm 45. These are people my age and older. And you know, my age, we were the first people on the internet. We were the first ones to have MySpace and AOL. So you would think that we would be above the scamming, but apparently not. But it's always a woman who, oh, I thought I was talking to this person. I thought I was talking to that person. And I'm like, why? Why? One lady ended up homeless. One lady divorced her husband. She divorced her husband because she thought she was about to run off and marry Elon Musk. Thank you so much, Ivory Israel. I appreciate you, sis. All praises to the Most High. She thought she was about to run off with Elon Musk. They was talking on the WhatsApp, okay? And she had sent this man like upwards of $10,000. I think it might have been over $10,000. And he had told her, pack up your stuff and move with me to California. But before that, she took out 3 home equity loans on her house, lied to her husband about it, divorced her husband, and then had their house all packed up to move to California to be with Elon Musk. So he told me I don't need to bring anything because, you know, I'll be able to buy whatever I want. Girl, she need a 5150. Like something is going on here. What is this? If you look on Netflix right now, they're the worst ex ever. There's this other show. Well, I forgot what the other show was called, but there are so many examples of this. Women ignoring red flags. And even I don't believe that you can be a woman of God and he's just going to let you fall into a dangerous situation like that. I just don't believe that. Warning always comes before destruction. I don't believe that. I don't believe that I didn't know anything and then one day he just woke up and was evil. No, you ignored the red flags. And the sooner we get honest with ourselves, the sooner we start keeping it real with ourselves, then the sooner you can start on that road to healing and maturing and putting that behind you. If she thought she was talking to Elon and had to send him money, she'd do, okay, the richest, and that's what the people were saying. Like, this man is worth like $3 trillion or something like that. Why do he need your little funky home equity loan, lady? It was crazy. It's really crazy. They had another lady I watched today, black girl, young though. She looked like she might have been like 30, 20, late 20s, early 30s, getting catfish because she thought she was talking to Chris Brown on the phone. And this man had her sending him gift cards, Sephora gift cards, and all kind of stuff. That's what desperation will do. That is what succumbing to loneliness will do. And I don't want that for y'all. I want y'all to be victorious in every area of your life, especially your personal life. I want y'all to be happily married. I want y'all to know what it feels like to have a man love you for real, for real. A man that feels like you're too precious to even step outside. My husband feels that way about me. Like he takes that verse when it talks, I think it's in Deuteronomy 28, when it talks about how our feet used to be so gentle, they wouldn't dare touch the ground. Like he takes that literally and he tries to make sure that I don't have to leave my home unless I absolutely want to. Find you a man that care about you like that. I can tell my husband I want anything. When he walk out the door, he'll come right back with it. He loves me that much. He cares for me that much. You deserve to be loved and cared for that much. You deserve a man whose main priority is your comfort. I don't care where we are or what we're doing. And I was telling my daughter this. I'm indecisive, right? And my husband can be indecisive too. But his default is always whatever I want. Unless it's something he feel really strongly about, his default is whatever I want, right? And I could complain about that. I could be like, oh, you're so indecisive, blah, blah, blah. But how blessed am I to have a husband whose default is whatever I choose? I'm not going to complain about that. You know what I'm saying? You deserve that. You deserve a man whose first thought is, well, let me see what she want to do. Let me see what she thinks. Let me see if she would like that. Because he wants to do whatever he has to do to keep you around. You deserve that. I want that for you. So listen, I love y'all. I got to get up off of here so I can go on upstairs. We do have a Sisters Circle group chat, Bible study, prayer group. We do so many things. We have prayer every Wednesday at 7:00. Right now, our Bible study is on Tuesdays at 7, and we are going through the Bible. We just started. This week was actually our second week, and we are on Genesis 6. So we are literally walking through verse by verse, discussing, breaking it down, asking questions, discussing precepts. You know, it has been an awesome study. I love, love, love it. I love it. I love it. I love hearing the different perspectives, the different thoughts. It's awesome. So if you would like to be a part of our Bible studies, our prayer calls, or just, be a part of a good, honest sisterhood, hit me up. If you have my number, you can send me a text or you can just send me a DM on TikTok or Facebook and I will add you to the group chat. Okay. If you would like to reach out, my email address is, I don't have it on here, missmanosworld@gmail.com. Like if you want to send me a more in-depth message or need a personal conversation, you can DM me or you can email me at missmanosworld@gmail.com. Okay. Do not forget about F3. If you have not already ordered your tickets, your vendor space, if you have not already donated to sponsor a family, please head over to 3mgmusic.com. There you can find everything F3 and also at F3 Fringed Up Fest on Instagram and TikTok. On behalf of everyone here at the House of Mono, I thank you for hanging out with me this evening. I hope something that I said was helpful, whether you're listening live or on the replay. I will see y'all. I don't know. I'm debating on going live every week until F3. I don't know. I might wait until like it's 4 weeks away. I don't know. I'm still toying with the idea. I will let y'all know. But for now, I'm going to say I will not see y'all next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that, Lord willing. We will have our prayer call next Wednesday. However, that's every week. So if you want to get down with that, send me a DM to be added to the chat so you can be a part of our Bible studies and our prayer calls. I told y'all about F3. I told y'all about the website. Okay, yeah, I think I told y'all everything. I love you so much. Again, seriously, y'all, I hope y'all hear my heart. Please hear my heart. I pray that the Most High bless you and keep you and your family. May your paths be straight everywhere you go. May it be well lit and may you be guided by the Holy Spirit. I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Shalom, shalom, and good night.
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. Daddy came
One time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I
Tune
submit.
in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. Live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on Messiah TV on Roku and Fire Stick. Why Boaz Don't